Hey guys, welcome back to Max Motorsports in Smallington. Today we're going to be putting the sleds away. It's about that time of year and winter's sadly gone, so there's no more riding and it's time to put the sleds away. I'm going to give you a few steps that's going to keep your sled from rusting, keep your belt in good condition, keep everything in pretty good condition. So we need to do these steps to keep our sled in top condition so we can start riding next year and everything's going to be working great. Before we get into the video, make sure you hit that subscribe button down in this corner, put your mouse on that thing and then click subscribe. It supports me and it's all free. So thanks very much for doing that. Give this video a thumbs up, and if you want to join my Patreon, links below, links to Twitter and Facebook if you'd like to join my Facebook group. Alright, so the first things we're going to do is just clean off the sled. So you can fancy your sled up in any way you want, you can wax it, do whatever you want, but a big thing we really need to do is clean it off with water or soap or whatever we want to do to get that salt off from crossing roads, getting salt on that's going to corrode your sled in any place it can, and so we really need to get that off. Also, if you're like me and you drove your sled across the dirt while you're putting it away, you're probably gonna have a lot of dirt on it. So clean that dirt off, clean that salt off, get all the junk off you can. I'm just gonna warn you not to use a pressure washer unless you've got one that doesn't have much pressure to it because it can break the sled. So just stay away from that if you can. Just use a hose or whatever you've got. All right, I'm gonna bring my sled into the garage and we'll start tearing it down. So while I'm bringing my sled in, you guys can go to the store and get the stuff you need. You're gonna need some fuel stabilizer and you're gonna need some fog and oil. And then any other greases you need that you don't have, some all-purpose grease, and also a grease gun, can of PB Blaster or WD-40, and that's pretty much it. Alright, so we got the sled, and the first thing we're going to do is just simply take off the drive belt. Alright, so we took off our drive belt, we've got our little key here, we're going to insert it in, crank it open, take off the belt. Alright, so we took the drive belt off, and the reason for that is when it's staying in that same place, same position all summer like that, it's going to kind of stick like that, and it's going to kind of be warped. And I will tell you guys, and I should have told you this before, fill up your sled with non-ethanol gas if you can get it. It's going to stay a lot longer in your tank. We're going to be filling it with fuel stabilizer anyways, but you're best off filling with non-ethanol gas too. Alright, next step we're going to do real quick is just take your battery out, set it in a cool dry space. Same thing with your belt, put it in a cool dry place where it's going to be all good all summer long. Take your battery out, you can plug it in if you want to keep it charged all summer. I don't have a battery, but if you do, take it out and charge it and keep it out all summer. Alright, next up we're just going to spray the sled with some penetrating oil or WD-40, whatever's going to keep it from rusting over the summer. Spray some of that on. You can do a little bit in the suspension, in those little areas, bolts, nuts, that's where you want to get it, where it's going to rust. Alright, an optional step is you can also change the chain case oil if you'd like to. I'm not going to do it in this video, I probably will do it next fall, but if you want to get that, any water you got in there this winter out, go ahead and change that chain case oil. Alright, next up we're just going to be greasing, not spraying with penetrating oil with WD-40, but greasing parts of the suspension and anywhere where it needs to be greased. Alright, so I actually left my other grease gun someplace else, so I went out and bought one this morning. So we're going to hook this guy up and start greasing the sled. If you can get a flexible extension, or you have a flexible extension, it's going to be a lot easier. Alright, so it's a good idea if you check your owner's manual for all the grease points. They should tell you where all the grease points and what you need to grease is. Alright, first one I'm going to start with is right up in there. It's going to be your jack shaft speedo bearing right there, so I'm going to grease that one. Alright, so the greasing on these Dragon 800 IQs is really simple. They make a grease-free suspension, so there's no problem with greasing that. It's just that one jack shaft speedo bearing right there. They get a grease. With your sleds, though, there's probably going to be about 4. Make sure you grease those up really well, and when you see the grease coming out the ends, stop greasing it. Next thing we're going to do is add fuel stabilizer to the tank of gas and run it for a few minutes to get into this system. Alright, so to add this, we got this fuel stabilizer here. It treats 1 ounce treats with 2.5 gallons. Now, I recommend filling your sled full of fuel so you can just prevent water buildup or anything like that. Right now, I'm going to treat it. I only have a little bit of gas, probably 1.5 gallons in there. So I'm going to treat it with about a ½ ounce of fuel stabilizer and then run it for about 5 minutes. But fill your tanks up if you can with non-ethanol gas. Alright, so I'm going to wheel this to a more ventilated place, a little close to the edge of the garage and start it up a little bit. Alright, so the engine has fuel stabilizer in it now. I'll throw the fuel lines. It's going to help the engine from gumming up. It's also going to help the gasoline from corroding lines in the gas tank. All right, next up we're gonna fog the engine. All right, so you can either take the fog oil and spray it into the intake for 10 seconds while it's running and get it into the engine, and then spray in the, and then you can spray in the cylinder for 3 seconds to get it all fogged up. Or you can just spray in the cylinders for 5 seconds and then slowly pull it over to get it moved around in the engine, to keep those crank bearings all good. Alright, so I sprayed fogging oil in the cylinders for about 5 seconds. Now I'm just going to pull it over to get it moved around there. So now I'm going to put the old spark plugs back in because the fogging oil will get the new spark plugs all dirty if you put new ones in. Pull it over a few more times. Alright, a quick optional thing is you can also loosen your track up a little bit. That's going to get the tension off for the summer, which is a great idea if you're into that. Alright, so just loosen this up, both sides. Back that lock nut out. And then back this bad boy out a little bit. And do the same on the other side. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much it for the video today. Make sure you put your sled on a place that's cool and dry. Make sure you don't set it on concrete because that's going to really dry rot your track out. Set it on something. Get it up off something that's not going to take the water out of your track and dry rot it. Thanks for watching the video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Join my Patreon if you like to. All links down in the description. Have a great day.